We've already had Maxine and Longlegs, but we're only just a little over another week away from getting another huge horror movie in 2024. M Night Shyamalan's Trap, starring Josh Hartnett as the Butcher, a serial killer who finds himself surrounded by the authorities as he accompanies his daughter to a big pop concert. The movie promises all the fun, twisty goodness that's been part and parcel of the director's filmography. However, in another surprising twist, Trap will not be screening for critics before its release in the United States on August 2nd, which has understandably raised a few eyebrows. So, should we be worried? And is this video just an elaborate ruse to trap a criminal hiding in our comment section? I don't know about the latter part of that, but I'm Ewan, you're watching What Culture, and with me today to talk all about Trap is Andrew Pollard. How you doing, Andrew?
I'm all good, Ewan. Thanks for asking me along to talk about all the good stuff. And it's Josh Hartnett. You've got me here. I'm a Josh Hartnett guy, so that's me ticked off. Halloween H20 represent. Yeah. So it's very the trailer here for Trap very much has me trapped and sucked in, and I'm all here for it. It's very typical M Night Shyamalan vibes, and again, you've mentioned there about how Josh Hartnett's character Cooper is supposedly the butcher. It's heavily alluded to without being outright stated, but we do see him. There's a scene that's shown in the trailer where he's watching a video of somebody being tortured, which if you're doing that, you're probably not a good person. Are you the butcher? Maybe, maybe not. So there is so many questions that something like this throws up where if you see supposedly a massive reveal in a trailer, then your mind starts to think, well, if they're giving that away and putting that on Front Street straight from the jump, what else is there in the film? Where else is this going to go? What twists and turns? Where are we going to zig and zag? When we going left? When are we going to go right? It's lots of questions. And again, that could be, I think for me, is the one lazy way to say that the critics aren't getting any screenings is because that the film's bad. But if it was bad, I don't think Warner Brothers would be making such a big fuss over it, especially with their history of tax write-offs in more recent years. But the more logical one for me is that it's an M. Night Shyamalan film. By design, pretty much every one of his films has massive twists in throughout. And so if this has been given away, for me, it's more a case of protecting any future spoilers for the film. And that's probably why there aren't critical screenings. But then, again, another side of that is that critics they have a responsibility not to divulge any heavy spoilers that have been put out there already before a film is released. So, yeah. A couple of different ways to look at it.
You've already mentioned there, like the big twist. If it is the big twist, was shown in the trailer that Josh Hartnett is not lovable, cool, middle class, cool dad. He's actually, the butcher, or is heavily implied to be. I just thought then, what if the twist is that the butcher is a rival serial killer that he's had a grudge back with, like going back to high school, and that is another dad who's taken their child to the car. I don't know. It could be a whole thing there. There's so many different ways that they could, that Shyamalan could. Spice things up again. But yeah, we first heard about, Trap not getting critic screenings just earlier this week. They're not happening in New York, not happening in LA. Typically, we get those about a week or two before the movie actually releases. And like you said, there has been speculation that this is down to apparent unconfidence in the movie from Warner Brothers. But I agree with you. Like, we know that if Warner Brothers, over recent years, during the great Zaslavification of the company, that if they aren't confident in something, they're just going to tax write it off. And I don't think that can't happen with Trap. I think M. Night Shyamalan's movies have proven to be kind of dependable at the box office. So that is obviously a thing that I don't think they're really worried about. And yeah, in regards to it not being shown, even though I think that we need to be less precious about spoilers as a movie-going audience and public, I do understand why there would be a little bit of reluctance to show the movie before its release, especially when you've got that initial twist already out there, because if there is another, then that's going to be a huge part of the intrigue factor for people wanting to go see the film, apart from, Shyamalan's kind of divisively compelling reputation, as a filmmaker. I feel like people either love him or hate him, and either way, you end up going to watch his movies, so the less you know about what could potentially occur in the third act, the better. My other thought in regards to that, apart from maybe Josh Hartnett's the Butcher having serial killer beef, or maybe he's a different serial killer and the Butcher is there, what if he's actually trapped in a big cult? There's a cult. It's a commentary on like pop fandom, and actually the lead singer, who's played by M Night Shyamalan's daughter, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, has actually assembled her cultish devotees to maybe like murder everyone. I don't know. Either way, I'm looking forward to the movie, and this is coming from someone who's only seen like two Shyamalan films, and that is The Sixth Sense and Unbreakable. And all the others have really kind of like piqued my interest. But this one I'm definitely here for as a fellow Josh Hartnett lover. It's great that he's having that little resurgence post Oppenheimer after having some time away from acting.
Yeah, and in terms of the Shyamalan output that you have seen, if I was going to recommend two movies of his to watch, then you tick both those boxes immediately. So you're all good there. I wouldn't be any. I mean, there is some quality in amongst the rest of his filmography, but it's kind of for every step forward, there's a step back, and every time you get excited that he's back, then he'll release like two or three films that are all just, and again, he does such a great job, him and his team, and putting together trailers that do get the anticipation up, such as the trailer for Trap has done an excellent job of making me want to see that film. But so too did the trailers for Lady in the Water, which turned out to be just dull, really, really, really dull. And it had like so many great moving parts, but then the end result was just flat. And I think that was the only movie of his that not necessarily struggled at the box office. It made its budget back, but barely. But yeah, that's another argument against people saying that the critic reviews aren't happening because of the quality of the film. He has had bad movies before that have still had critics screenings, and they've done massive numbers at the box office compared to their budget, taking 3-4 times that back. Even the damn plans, man, they're happening. That took, I think it's $160 million from 40 odd million, and that's probably the worst of his films. And hey, I'm even a Marky Mark guy. I'm a Mark Wahlberg guy, but man, that film is bad. But yeah, the point being that they put these bad movies out there. The early critical reviews were bad of these films, but people still went to see them anyway, just to, I guess, to see what it's all about themselves, maybe to revel in the awfulness, or maybe just because, right, well, it's bad, but what are the twists going to be like? Because that is M. Night Shyamalan's trademark. There is nobody, I say, yeah, nobody active in the industry right now who is famed or synonymous with twists as M. Night Shyamalan, because pretty much every one of his films has not just one, but multiple. My only fear is that this is and I don't think this fear will come to fruition, but my fear is that it's a Terminator Genesis argument where that movie, that trailer, they put out there straight away that, okay, John Connor is a Terminator, and so that lures you into thinking, like this one does, like, well, what's this thing with the butcher? If they give him that reveal away, what else is there in the film? And that was the case with me and a lot of people for Genesis, thinking, what other things have they got in store for us? And there was nothing. That was it. What they showed in the trailer, that was it. Peaked. And yeah, so that is the fear, that maybe they peaked. But M. Night Shyamalan's got faith. Even if the film's no good, there will be more twists in it at least.
I was gonna say, with Genesis, it felt like that was a mistake in the marketing, that they showed it and were like, oh no, we weren't meant to do that. Whereas with this, it's felt so much more deliberate. Like, obviously you mentioned the praise for the trailer. It's so quotable. I love that guy on like the merch stand who is just like, you hear about the butcher, that freak who chops people up. I love all of that. And for me, it just feels like there is something else being built to here. And to be honest, I would be fine even if like there wasn't an additional twist, because I think this is a really cool premise in and of itself. And I'm kind of I would like to follow the perspective of a freaky Josh Hartnett, because that sounds really funny to me. But yeah, I don't think the twist with this is that there is no secondary twist. I feel like there has to be something else waiting in the wings. And I enjoy the novelty of it. Like, you could call it a gimmick if you want to, but even though I don't actively partake in Shyamalan's films as they've been releasing over the last couple decades, I'm still always happy to see them, and I'm always intrigued. And this one, I'm definitely gonna check out on account of the whole Josh Hartnett of it all, but also it does look really, really fun, and the lack of critic screenings. It's frustrating that they haven't come forward, because I do think that critics should be seeing movies before they release. It's kind of important for me. But at the same time, I'm not going to lose loads of sleep over it. I'm just excited he's still making movies, and this one looks really, really fun. And continuing that trend that we've gotten, in recent months, that we've gotten lots of really good horror this year. Obviously, Longlegs has just come out. We've got Cuckoo coming out later this year too. We're kind of eating well in that department, and yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, it's whenever M Night Shyamalan releases a movie, it's always has the potential to be in the kind of running when it comes to end of year lists. Whether those movies do end up being in the running, that's a different beast altogether. But ahead of time, you're thinking this looks like it's going to be, when you're putting together your top 10 list at the end of the year, it's got that sort of vibe to it, as have many of his other films, some which did not live up to that vibe and that hype, others which did deliver. But it's a very smart marketing premise, I think, as well, with long legs. Well, what am I talking about? Long legs with Trap, where just this. I mentioned it again. I can't reiterate how stylishly, smartly done the trailer is. And it's Shyamalan's been known somewhat for his marketing techniques, even going back to like The Village, where he filmed a faux documentary, which was supposed to be about his life, but it just turned out it was a documentary that was done to get people talking about him ahead of The Village being released. And that is a film that, again, split opinion, but I'd say it's probably in the higher end of his movies, but it's not like an all-timer like The Sixth Sense or Unbreakable. But yeah, it's the trailer has done what it was designed to do, and that is all that Warner Brothers and Mike Shyamalan can be asking for right now.
But yeah, I want to know what all of you think down in the comments below of Trap not getting any critic screenings. Do you care? Has it given you pause for thought? Let us know down there. Put the video a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to Wild Culture so you don't miss another upload going forward. Either way, I've been Ewan, this has been Andrew, and we'll hopefully see you next time. Bye.